Today, we're diving into one of the most haunting and perplexing cases in recent history. The tragic disappearance of Suzanne Morphew shocked the world, and the discovery of her remains brought with it even more unsettling questions. After 3 agonizing years, Suzanne's remains were unexpectedly uncovered during a separate investigation in a remote area of Saguache County, Colorado. This discovery reignited interest in what had become a chilling cold case, raising doubts, suspicions, and theories that left everyone reeling. From the start, Suzanne's disappearance was a tangled web of mysteries. A rocky personal life and conflicting stories quickly cast suspicion on her husband, Barry Morphew. Investigators initially believed they were dealing with a cold-blooded murder. With over 70 professionals dedicating thousands of hours to the case, hundreds of interviews, and a mountain of search warrants, authorities were convinced Barry was responsible. He was even charged with first-degree murder, until a lack of evidence and allegations of investigative mismanagement forced the charges to be dropped. Yet the discovery of Suzanne's remains in a location far outside the search area changed everything. DNA evidence linking her death to a suspected serial killer sent shockwaves through the investigation, forcing everyone to reconsider their theories. Was Barry far more calculating than anyone imagined, or did a completely unforeseen element play a role in Suzanne's tragic end? The truth remains shrouded in uncertainty. Suzanne Morphew's story begins on April 11, 1971. Born to Jean and Adrian Alexandria, she grew up alongside her brothers, David and Andrew. Friends and family remember her as a thoughtful, kind, and intellectual woman. It was during high school that Suzanne met her future husband, Barry Morphew, a star athlete with dreams of a professional baseball career. They dated for 6 years before tying the knot, and Barry's promising future seemed to set the stage for a perfect life. However, a career-ending injury forced him to abandon baseball and pivot to a new path in landscaping, while Suzanne pursued a degree in education at Purdue University. Despite early challenges, the couple built a beautiful life together. Suzanne became a devoted teacher, while Barry launched a successful landscaping business. They welcomed 2 daughters, Mallory and Macy, and appeared to live an idyllic life in Indiana. But life dealt Suzanne a cruel blow when she was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. Displaying incredible resilience, she beat cancer not once but twice. In 2018, the family moved to Colorado for a fresh start, settling into a stunning 7-acre property. Barry took up hunting and volunteered as a firefighter, while Suzanne retired from teaching to focus on her family, faith, and newfound hobbies like mountain biking. If you've been captivated by the twists and turns of Suzanne Morphew's heartbreaking case and want to stay updated on the latest true crime stories, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Your support helps us bring you in-depth investigations and uncover the truth behind the world's most gripping mysteries. Like, share, and join the discussion in the comments below. What do you think? From the outside, the Morphews seemed like the perfect family. But behind closed doors, cracks were forming, cracks that would come into sharp focus after Suzanne vanished. Mother's Day in May 2020 marked the beginning of a nightmare. Suzanne was home alone while Barry claimed to be working several hours away, and their daughters were on a camping trip. The plan was to reunite in the evening to celebrate the holiday, but the celebration never happened. Concern began to grow when Suzanne, known for being active on social media, failed to respond to messages or post anything. Her daughters, unable to reach her, turned to their neighbor for help. The neighbor's trip to the Morphew residence revealed an eerily empty house. When Barry was informed, he suggested checking for Suzanne's mountain bike. If it was missing, he instructed the neighbor to contact the police, a call that would set off a search full of twists and turns. Authorities descended on the property, and the investigation began in earnest. Within hours, they discovered a key clue that would upend their understanding of the case and set the stage for a mystery that continues to baffle investigators and haunt the nation. The investigation took a dramatic turn when Suzanne's mountain bike was discovered at the bottom of a steep ravine not far from the Morphew residence. At first glance, the location hinted at a possible accident, but the scene told a different story. The bike showed no damage, there were no skid marks to indicate braking, and the surrounding vegetation was undisturbed. It became clear to deputies that the bike had been deliberately placed there, raising the unsettling possibility of foul play. Barry Morphew's reaction to this revelation only deepened the mystery. Instead of concern, he presented an outlandish theory that Suzanne had been attacked by a mountain lion. This bizarre claim was just the beginning of a series of questionable statements and behavior that left investigators and Suzanne's loved ones baffled. Barry's absence from search parties organized by Suzanne's brother, Andrew, further fueled suspicions. Andrew dismissed the mountain lion story outright, suggesting instead that Suzanne may have been taken a day earlier than Barry claimed. The investigation intensified when Suzanne's helmet was found a mile from the Morphew home. What made the discovery even more suspicious was the location. It aligned precisely with telemetry data from Barry's truck, showing he had driven in that direction on the morning of Suzanne's disappearance. This was the opposite direction of the construction site Barry claimed he was heading to that day. Confronted with the data, Barry offered a new explanation, saying he had been scouting elk early that morning. He even admitted to tranquilizing elk and harvesting their antlers for sale, a claim investigators found difficult to corroborate. When pressed further, Barry amended his timeline, casting even more doubt on his reliability. Barry's account of the day before Suzanne's disappearance also came under scrutiny. He described it as a perfect day. They had spent time together, gone on a hike, grilled steaks, and been intimate before going to bed. Yet investigators found glaring inconsistencies in his story. Telemetry data from Barry's truck and his phone showed erratic movements around the property the night before Suzanne vanished. When asked to explain, Barry claimed he had been hunting chipmunks with a tranquilizer gun, a strange and suspicious activity given the circumstances. More troubling details emerged as investigators pieced together the timeline. Barry's phone went into airplane mode for several hours on the night of Suzanne's disappearance, cutting off any potential tracking. Despite his claims of a shared dinner, only one dirty plate was found in the house. Later that evening, Barry's truck was recorded moving in reverse, 96 feet back into the driveway, a movement investigators speculated could indicate he was loading Suzanne's body into the vehicle. Adding to the suspicions, data revealed that between 3:25 and 3:48 a.m. the truck's doors opened and closed over 80 times, a frantic and unexplained flurry of activity. Although circumstantial, the evidence painted a picture of a man who seemed to know far more than he was admitting. As investigators delved deeper into the events of that fateful night, every detail cast a shadow over Barry Morphew's version of events, leaving more questions than answers. What really happened to Suzanne, and was Barry hiding the truth? Or was there an entirely different, darker narrative yet to be uncovered? The mystery remains as chilling as ever. The case grew even darker as investigators continued piecing together the events surrounding Suzanne's disappearance. Interviews with Barry's co-workers revealed a startling inconsistency. Barry wasn't supposed to be in Broomfield on the day he claimed he had a work appointment. The project he mentioned wasn't set to begin for another week, casting serious doubt on his alibi. Barry's account of his movements that day raised even more questions. He insisted he only visited a Holiday Inn, a nearby job site, a local store to buy granola and water, and a McDonald's to clean his windshield. However, surveillance footage told a different story. Barry was captured on camera disposing of 5 trash bags at different locations near the Holiday Inn and McDonald's. When questioned, he offered a bizarre excuse, claiming he wanted to clean his truck but avoid paying disposal fees. Investigators weren't convinced, especially after a coworker reported a strong smell of bleach and chlorine in Barry's hotel room shortly after Suzanne's disappearance. Suspicion deepened when it was discovered that Barry had changed clothes multiple times that day, adding another layer of odd behavior to an already suspicious timeline. While these actions painted Barry in a damning light, investigators still lacked a clear motive, until they began digging deeper into Suzanne and Barry's personal lives. Text messages recovered from Suzanne's phone painted a picture of a deeply unhappy marriage. Suzanne confided in her Notes app, documenting grievances that included accusations of physical abuse, concerns about Barry's drinking, and fears for her safety. She expressed her frustration over Barry's refusal to consider divorce and even speculated about his infidelity. In one chilling entry, Suzanne admitted she was afraid to be alone in a room with him. In the most ironic twist, a spy pen Suzanne purchased to catch Barry in an affair instead revealed her own. Investigators discovered that Suzanne had been having an affair with Jeff, a former high school classmate, for over a year. Despite initial suspicions, Jeff was cleared of any involvement in Suzanne's disappearance. However, investigators theorized that Barry may have discovered the affair. A note Suzanne wrote just days before she vanished confirmed this possibility. Barry had accused her of having a boyfriend. Further searches of the Morphew home revealed disturbing evidence. Investigators found the cap of a tranquilizer dart in the family's dryer, a spent bullet casing in the bedroom, and a large crack in a doorframe, possibly indicating a struggle. Even more unsettling was the discovery of what appeared to be remnants of Suzanne's journal burned in the fireplace. These findings, combined with Barry's erratic behavior and suspicious data from his truck and phone, suggested a sinister plot. Telemetry data from Barry's truck indicated peculiar activity on the night Suzanne disappeared. His truck door opened and closed over 80 times in the early hours of the morning, a detail investigators speculated could involve loading and unloading items. Around the same time, Suzanne's phone activity ceased entirely after she texted her boyfriend 53 times and sent him a selfie earlier that day. The timing painted a chilling picture of what might have happened that afternoon. Barry's increasingly inconsistent stories further unraveled under scrutiny. At one point, he claimed the couple had spent a peaceful day together before Suzanne vanished, describing a steak dinner, a hike, and a romantic evening. But investigators found only one dirty plate at the scene, contradicting his account. When questioned about his movements, Barry offered another bizarre excuse, claiming he had been hunting chipmunks with tranquilizers, a story that only added to the growing pile of contradictions. If you've been captivated by the twists and turns of Suzanne Morphew's heartbreaking case and want to stay updated on the latest true crime stories, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Your support helps us bring you in-depth investigations and uncover the truth behind the world's most gripping mysteries. Like, share, and join the discussion in the comments below. What do you think? As the investigation pressed on, police began focusing on Barry as the prime suspect. 2 weeks after Suzanne's disappearance, they excavated a construction site Barry had worked on in Salida, searching for any trace of evidence. In response, Barry released a video to the public, declaring his innocence and pleading for Suzanne's safe return. However, his odd demeanor and questionable timeline did little to sway public opinion. Finally, on May 5, 2021, nearly a year after Suzanne's disappearance, Barry Morphew was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, tampering with physical evidence, and other related charges. Though the case against him was largely circumstantial, the prosecution believed they had enough to prove Barry's involvement in his wife's death. With the weight of changing stories, mysterious data, and clear motive, the trial seemed poised to uncover the truth. But even as the case moved forward, questions lingered. What really happened to Suzanne Morphew, and would justice ever truly be served? The twists in the case of Suzanne Morphew only grew more shocking as the investigation and legal proceedings unfolded. Barry Morphew faced not only charges of first-degree murder and tampering with evidence but also a bizarre allegation of filing a fraudulent election ballot in Suzanne's name. Barry's excuse: he claimed he didn't know it was illegal and that the extra vote could help Trump win the election. Ultimately, he pled guilty to the charge and paid a $600 fine, further tarnishing his credibility. In August 2021, the case reached a pivotal moment with a preliminary hearing to determine if Barry would stand trial. Over 4 days, prosecutors unveiled a narrative they believed explained Suzanne's disappearance. According to them, Barry killed Suzanne on May 9, 2020, dismembered her body in a hotel room, disposed of the tools used, and buried her in an unmarked grave. But Barry's defense team came prepared, fiercely challenging the prosecution's theory. They highlighted significant gaps in the evidence. For instance, cadaver dogs failed to detect human remains in Barry's car or the hotel room where prosecutors alleged he dismembered Suzanne. They pointed to discrepancies in evidence handling, such as conflicting photos of the dryer showing a tranquilizer dart cap in one image and missing in another. The defense also noted that Barry's tranquilizer gun was broken at the time, making it impossible for him to use it in the alleged crime. The most damning blow to the prosecution, however, was the revelation of DNA evidence. Partial DNA profiles found in Suzanne's car and on her bike helmet didn't match Barry. They matched an unknown individual linked to 3 unsolved sexual assault cases in Chicago and Arizona. This crucial discovery raised serious questions about the investigation. Why wasn't this evidence followed up on earlier? It turned out that the CBI investigator responsible for the evidence went on military leave and failed to pursue the lead. Worse, the defense learned about the DNA matches for the first time during the hearing, as the prosecution had failed to disclose it earlier, a violation of legal protocol. The defense seized on this revelation, arguing that the existence of another suspect with a criminal history cast significant doubt on Barry's guilt. They insisted that the prosecution's case lacked the evidence needed for a conviction. Despite this, the judge, acknowledging the extensive resources and man-hours invested in the case, decided to allow the trial to proceed. On September 7, 2021, the judge set Barry's bail at $500,000, and he walked free with his daughters shortly thereafter. But the story didn't end there. Just 9 days before the trial was set to begin, the prosecution made a stunning move. They filed a motion to dismiss all charges against Barry without prejudice. This meant the case could be reopened if new evidence came to light. The dismissal cited issues with evidence collection, including the inability to locate Suzanne's body and the unanswered questions surrounding the foreign DNA. Though Barry Morphew walked away a free man, the cloud of suspicion remained. The case, fraught with legal missteps, missing evidence, and unanswered questions, left Suzanne's family in the public searching for closure. Could justice still be served, or would this case become another unsolved tragedy? The haunting mystery of Suzanne Morphew's disappearance continues to captivate and confound to this day. The shocking discovery of Suzanne Morphew's remains in September 2023 brought a mix of relief and new questions to a case that had already captivated and divided the nation. Investigators uncovered several shallow graves in Moffett, Colorado, over 50 miles from the initial search area near Barry Morphew's property. Suzanne's identity was confirmed through dental records and her chemotherapy port, but the unexpected location of her remains raised even more perplexing questions. If you've been captivated by the twists and turns of Suzanne Morphew's heartbreaking case and want to stay updated on the latest true crime stories, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Your support helps us bring you in-depth investigations and uncover the truth behind the world's most gripping mysteries. Like, share, and join the discussion in the comments below. What do you think? The discovery cast doubt on Barry's involvement, or at least his direct role in disposing of Suzanne's body. Authorities confirmed that Barry's truck had no recorded presence in Moffett during the critical days of May 9 and 10, 2020. However, skeptics speculated that Barry might have had help in moving Suzanne's body or made a covert trip to Moffett before returning home. Some argued that an extended analysis of Barry's phone and vehicle data might provide answers, but as of now, Barry remains in the clear. Despite this, the investigation is far from over. The District Attorney of Colorado's 12th Judicial District emphasized that the case remains active, declining to comment further until more information comes to light. In a statement, they offered condolences to Suzanne's family, reaffirming their commitment to uncovering the truth. Meanwhile, Barry's attorney, Iris Iden, has been vocal about her client's innocence since the discovery of Suzanne's body. Iden suggested that Suzanne might have fallen victim to a serial killer, noting that her remains were found in what appeared to be a boneyard. She has accused law enforcement of wrongfully targeting Barry from the beginning, leading to a flawed investigation. Iden expressed hope that authorities would eventually admit their mistakes, vindicating Barry entirely. As Barry appears to shift from defendant to plaintiff, He has filed a $15 million lawsuit against prosecutors, sheriff's departments, and various investigators involved in the case. Barry claims he was wrongfully charged, stating that his reputation and livelihood were irreparably damaged by the accusations. While the lawsuit unfolds, the unanswered questions surrounding Suzanne's disappearance and death remain haunting. Was her death the result of a tragic series of misjudgments, or is there still more to the story? As authorities continue to investigate, the world watches closely, hoping that justice for Suzanne Morphew will finally be served.